Good day, everyone. Third week for 337 starts out as the others have by looking at a little bit of theory. We are going to be finishing off with doing some work with infographics and the great tool Canva. There's a series of workshops we'll look at quickly. And in the middle of all that, we're going to look at some exciting future technologies and things that are starting to be integrated around augmented reality and other future technologies. So again, looking quickly over our topics and learning objectives. It does cover quite a bit of ground this week, and we're kind of in full swing now. Hopefully everybody's had a good chance to meet with their pods and we're moving forward on those blog posts. Just a reiteration that those blog posts prompts at the end of the week are really just suggestions. You can basically blog and post about anything that we come across here in 337. And I know there is a lot of ground to cover, so don't feel that you need to post and write about every topic that we talk about or discuss during that week. Also available are things that come up within your working and trialing in the hands-on situation. So I know there were some people with some PowerPoint things that they like to write blogs about, that's perfectly fine. So essentially the blogs are really just to cover material that we talk about in the class, and I know there's too much to cover in one blog post per class, and that's part of the reason why you meet with your pods. So it's a chance to discuss some of that material that you might not have talked about in your blog post, and it's also a way to discuss about more things in comments. And I've noticed that in a few comments where people are commenting on people's blogs saying I didn't write about that, but it's a good note that you bring in from the class. So we've got a couple of short podcasts here to sort of set the stage for our learning, and we're looking at a couple different models and theories, and elements of those this week are again to inform and to help you within your practice. And for this class, that means you automatically start to apply those in the hands-on portion of each week. So these are great foundations, something to return to, something to read about and reflect upon in your practice, especially when you are getting to the assignments, assignment 3, assignment 4 in particular. Those are really where you get a chance to shine and show all of the ways you've been able to implement those theories, and keeping a record of those as we go along, to make sure that you kind of put them in where they're needed in assignment 4 in particular. As I said, we're also looking a little bit into the future here and some exciting things that are coming forward in multimedia, and how that is going to change potentially in the next 10 or 9 or so years potentially, and then on other ways that they are informing good practice and how they're integrated into learning, and showing that all those elements of theory are ways that they can apply. And that's something you can reflect on in your blog as well. Another part of this week is to kind of just do a little bit of exploring to check out some of the tools that are part of augmented reality. Of course, we don't really have a time where we meet face-to-face or hands-on to sort of show each other these things, but it's something that you might want to look into. There's lots of different tools that are in that space. And the last part, the hands-on activity, is working with a great tool, very popular tool. As I note here, it's very high ranked in the 100 tools. Again, this list is something you can continue to go to. Just because we don't cover a tool in 337 right away doesn't mean that it's not a good and powerful tool, and something that you could look into in your practice, or as well as in this course. There is flexibility. So if we're talking about a specific tool, like last week, for instance, there was obviously the first presentation that comes to mind is PowerPoint, but there are a number of other things that cover that same ground. So there is flexibility in that you can decide which tool you're going to use, and integrating those theories into that and your presentation is really the point that we're looking for in 337 in terms of the assessment and looking at it. But what the tool is really up to you. But Canva is one of those tools that is very powerful and useful, and my colleague Rich has done some great walkthroughs, and this should be paid careful attention to. This is sort of a style in workshops where these tasks are broken down very specifically. In this case, designing a poster, designing a brochure, or a picture frame. These are ways that you can follow step by step and how to do those. Quick introduction as well, and some more information. These are other things to add to make your infographics really pop and use information in a really dynamic way, such as charts and visual information. You're getting down to the tasks. Obviously, we meet with our learning pods every week, and that is part of assignment 1 and 2. Part 1, assignment 1, creating blog posts. Assignment 2, writing about those blog posts of your peers. Assignment 3 is something you might want to be thinking on the horizon, and this week is one of those artifacts you'll create in Canva that you might want to come and revisit and retool and rework for assignment 3. Same as with your PowerPoint, and then we'll get to video editing as well, which is one of those things is often what people will select. Sometimes they'll redo the presentation in another platform that may be more dynamic, or they're adding all elements to it that we've covered since then. But that's something to keep in the back of your mind, as well as assignment 4. I know that it is the beginning of week 3, but this is a 7-week course, so things are moving quickly. And hopefully you've already got a sense of what assignment 4 will entail, thinking about how you're going to divide what is going to be covered between your pod members, and then looking more broadly at that. And again, the last thing sort of is this idea about blog ideas and prompts. There's been some questions about that. These are not, you do not have to write about these. These are just if people get stuck about thinking, what can I write about this week? Or I'm not sure what Luke is looking for. These are ideas. I mean, you can write about one of these ideas, a couple of these ideas. If you've got time, write about all 7 of these ideas or none of these ideas. You can ignore all the prompts altogether and write about something else that sparked your interest within the week. So the blog posts are really a time for reflection and also showing your skills. You can embed a PowerPoint, you can embed other resources, you can bring in hyperlinks and visual graphics. All these things are also part of that process in your blog. Have a good week.